We're driving a Ford Mustang Mach-E. It is a fully electric SUV. Coming up, we're going to tell you what it's like to charge this thing when you're out there driving real distances. But first, information explosion. If you looked in the information explosion, the pricing information was for a 2022 Mustang Mach-E. However, the one we are driving is actually a 2021. It's the only one available in Ford's test fleet. However, this is exactly the same as the 2022, so this is representative of the new model year. Also, you can't buy a new 2022 Mustang Mach-E. They literally have stopped taking orders on the things because they have already sold out. Maybe better luck in 2023. That is a lot of words. Let's go on to interior.
I really like all the stitching. I think the seats are really beautiful for a monochromatic look. The interior storage is generous. This feels a little cheap to me, but otherwise this has kind of a luxe feel to it.
I think so too. They've made some interesting material choices, especially here on the dash. I find it to be a thoughtfully designed interior.
The interior door releases are a little bit unusually designed. They really look like a bottle opener.
I'm kind of surprised they didn't go with a button since they have so many buttons for door releases on the outside. One thing I know about electric cars, you gotta have weird door handles. In terms of space, I fit very, very well in the second row. A lot of headroom, great knee room. It's a very comfortable space, and in the back seat, it's a flat floor, so if you have somebody in the middle position, their legs are in a comfortable state. By the way, cargo space in the rear is 29.7 cubic feet, which is plenty spacious, and I like that the load floor holds in an angled position if you want to reach into the underfloor area, which is where you store your charging paraphernalia, and then you can also lower the load floor if you just need extra space.
Oh, I really like the integrated cargo cover. I love that it will hide your valuables and then just whisk out of the way when you raise the rear hatch. I'm a little bit inept when it comes to technology.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit inept.
But this power hatch was so easy to use that I actually used it.
Yeah, the foot activation on a lot of these similar systems doesn't work well. You're just sort of kicking impotently and nothing happens. But this foot activated hatch worked pretty well for you.
It did.
And then if you need more cargo space, you can always flip down the seats. It's not exactly flat, but it does offer more space. And then up front, there is a front trunk. And the Mustang Mach-E offers 4.7 cubic feet. If I were buying a Mach-E, would not equip it like this one with the cargo divider up front, because I think that really takes away what could be a usable space to like hide a backpack, and instead I can put like a tube of Ritz crackers here, and then the spray cheese goes in another nook.
Did I read correctly in the outline that it is drainable?
Yeah, you can load that thing up with ice and shrimp, and at the end of your shrimp extravaganza, you can just drain the whole thing out. Hey, little child, how do you like getting in and out of this car?
It's really easy.
How do you like pushing the button to open the door?
It's fun.
It's fun. Okay, maybe that's why Ford did it. Because I'm a traditionalist and I prefer door handles. There's like the little vestigial pull on the front door, but on the back doors, you just push a button and just sort of grab the side of the door. But my daughter likes it, so I'm going to sign off on it.
I do prefer a traditional door handle because it's one move instead of two moves.
That's a pretty good counterpoint. Okay, I'm going to side with my wife. What about getting the car seat in?
It was simple to install. There's like a leather slit that you can install.
Go on.
Okay, think of a better name for it.
I can't.
Okay.
Nor do I want to. So you got a leather slit. What happens next?
So it's nice because it covers over the latch points if you're not using a car seat, but if you do want to use one, it's very easy to install.
As for safety, the NHTSA has not rated the Mustang Mach-E, but the IIHS gives it a top safety pick. So it's very safe in terms of crash. Active safety is also generous. Lane keeping assist, automatic emergency braking. If you're backing up and you're going to hit something, it'll stop you. Blind spot warning, also standard. 9 airbags, including a driver's knee airbag. And there's a thing called evasive steering assist, which won't steer you around a crash. But if you're about to hit something and you do start steering, it'll actually assist you going in that direction around the crash. What do we think? Is the Ford Mustang Mach-E family friendly?
Family friendly.
Yeah. Rear window test. Almost all the way down. Armrest test. I wish the inboard armrest was a little bit closer to me because I kind of have to grip with my fingers if I'm going to have my elbow on here. And it's a little bit abrasive, not terrible, just a little bit. I have very delicate elbows. And then on the outboard, it's a much softer perch and it's better positioned. I'm going to go 60% on the inboard and 80% on the outboard. Hey, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do. Style. Pardon the very brief interruption, but let me thank the sponsor for today's video, Flying Eyes Sunglasses.
I'm wearing the ophthalmic line of glasses, which offers the same features I love in the aviation frames. They have super thin temples that are easy to fit under a headset or a helmet. They are super flexible and durable. And mine come with these removable magnetic tinted lenses, so they double as sunglasses.
They're incredibly lightweight, which makes them very, very comfortable all day long, whether you're using them in your daily life, or you're driving around in a car, or you're flying in a helicopter. It doesn't matter what you're doing, Flying Eyes makes great eyewear for all occasions. If you're ready to upgrade to aviation grade eyewear, click the link in the description below. Use the promo code Micah for 10% off. Flying Eyes. Style thoughts?
It's designed to have air flow around it as smoothly as possible. And I think that makes it look really good. I also think the front does not really look like a Mustang, but it does have a handlebar mustache, so I'm gonna give it a thumbs up.
If you ignore tradition and you just look at it for what it is, I think it's a very attractive, sleekly styled electric SUV.
Agreed.
That also has a badge that says Mustang on it.
Okay, yes.
This particular Mach-E also has the $400 metallic rapid red paint, which I think is quite stylish.
Does that make it go faster?
You tell me.
I guess so.
What do you guys think of the Mustang Mach-E's style? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Whatever you think, tell us in the comments section. And if you're curious what we're doing between YouTube videos, you can give us a follow over on Instagram. In motion. Whee! I would describe the Mach-E's road demeanor as comfortably taut. It doesn't feel harsh, but you do feel the road. It does feel like I have some connection with the road through the steering wheel. It's not overly fast, it's not too slow, it's just kind of in that Goldilocks space. And then using the different drive modes, you can kind of change the demeanor. I am an unbridled kind of guy, and so we will accelerate as fast as possible.
Whoa.
That was at like 59.
And of course, the speed limit is 60. Building on my needless full throttle acceleration there, the pull in this premium model is prompt and strong on the opposite end of the spectrum. And this has a one pedal drive mode, so you can just lift off and then the regenerative braking function begins. So I have my foot off the pedal and we're gonna see if it can come to a smooth stop.
Yes.
A little bit jerky at the end there.
Was it because we're on an incline?
It shouldn't matter.
Oh.
This is pretty smooth. My complaint would be the brakes. It's difficult to determine how much you should push and how much you should let off if you want a smooth stop. So not a fan of the braking feel, but if you use the one pedal drive mode, perhaps you won't have to use the brake pedal all that much. Hey guys, are you tired of hearing me talk? Me too. Let's have Evie drive. Evie's driving, question number one, almost always, visibility.
I'm actually pleasantly surprised at the visibility over my left shoulder. There's a pretty thick pillar, but I can see around it.
Yeah, that really has to do with your body positioning. And as for the C-pillar, there's like a little quarter window back there, but it's pretty high and it's very small, so I'm not sure how useful that is. When you drive, actually here, you got a straightaway, floor it. Whee! Wow!
Wow!
That was fun.
Would you like mommy to do that again at a reasonable point?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you find steering this thing around?
The steering feels a little bit heavier than I'd like, but
I have a solution. Now you're in whisper mode.
Oh, that's better.
Much better, right?
Yes.
What's whisper mode?
Whisper mode is a little bit mellower acceleration, lighter steering, and it's just sort of a calm, easy driving experience that might be more associated with Evie Muzio. Are you finding this fun to drive?
I am finding it fun, especially for like a responsible SUV that's also electrically powered.
All right, sweetie's having fun and being responsible. I'm getting back in the driver's seat. Overall, I think the Mustang Mach-E is a very well-rounded and fun driving experience. I really like driving this thing. You like driving this thing?
I like driving this thing.
We like driving this thing. Let me very quickly take a moment to thank Patreon patrons. You guys support us over on Patreon. I've said Patreon too many times, Patreon, but we really appreciate your support, and we love chatting with you guys over there, so thank you.
Patreon.
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 1, 2, 3. Patreon!
Oh yeah.
Emotion factor. What do you think? You feeling some emotion here?
I am. It comes up mostly, I think, from the driving experience.
What driving experience? This driving experience?
That driving experience, but also the interior is clearly different. There's this giant screen.
It's crazy, by the way, that we've made it this far into the video without mentioning the screen. Oh, we will talk about the screen shortly. But yeah, there are a lot of technical bits. It feels kind of futuristic, but it also dabbles in heritage. And what's interesting to me is that for you, I'll bet this is the most you've felt connected with a car that has a Mustang badge.
That is absolutely true.
Yeah, I think there's definitely an emotion factor here. If you're feeling emotionally moved to buy a Mustang Mach-E of your very own, A, good luck. B, click the Kelley Blue Book listing link in the description below for real listings in your area if they exist.
I do miss the way the Mustang GT sounds, that edit I did with you and Zach.
Yeah, well, we got a solution here. See this button? Push propulsion sound.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
It actually makes the sound, right? It's kind of cool.
That's so cool.
I'm so pleased I had a solution for your one complaint. She's
know.
feeling emotionally moved. I think we can move on. Remarks! At the beginning of the video, I teased that we were going to talk about what it's like to charge this thing when covering real distance. I had that opportunity. I drove from our mountain community to Long Beach, and I used the Ford Pass app to help me determine where I should charge. It found an Electrify America station not far from my destination, so I went there, I plugged in, I was there for 31 minutes, and it went from 47 to 90%. And what was kind of cool is that I just had time to like check email, do the stuff I kind of need to do. I walked into a Rite Aid, I got a massive receipt along with a bottle of water, and then I came back, and the crazy thing is it actually just worked. I have seen so many of my contemporaries, my friends, the straight pipes, other folks that have had issues charging, and I was shocked that my charging experience just straight up worked. I totally Micah Muzio'd the situation.
It's true. It's like you have a connection with the universe, and things I try to do will not go smoothly. You'll do it. It's perfect.
We're tight. I'll introduce you to the universe. You guys will get along famously. That Ford Pass app, by the way, not only can it help you find charging stations, but you can also check your state of charge. The phone as key function is really cool, and it was incredibly easy to set up. In that 31-minute charge, by the way, I added about 100 miles of range, and for my purposes, that totally worked great. What I will note is that the fastest that the Mustang Mach-E can charge using a DC fast charger is at 150 kilowatt rate. If you use, let's say, a Kia EV6 that has an 800 volt architecture, and boy, I'm throwing a lot of numbers at you, but I promise it'll make sense, it can charge at a 300 kilowatt rate, which means it can go from 10% to 80% in only 18 minutes. I really like the Mustang Mach-E, and I had a great charging experience, but if you anticipate covering a lot of distance and needing to charge very quickly, there are faster charging options. And for charging at home, by the way, if you get a 220 home charger, then you can charge up overnight in 11 hours. The time has finally come. Let's talk about the screen, shall we? It really doesn't look like it's meant to be here. It looks like we went to Fry's, got a 15.5-inch screen, and then lassoed it to this region right here. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto come standard, and they are both wireless, and there's also a standard wireless charging pad down here.
I was not sure I'd have an easy time using it. I did find my way around it well. I found the HVAC controls easy to use. The one aspect of that I did not like was the seat heater. It has those 3 little lines underneath, which makes you think you just tap it 3 times. That's not how it works.
Hey, it's a Rivian. As much functionality as is jammed into this interface, it all works surprisingly well. And then what I think is really cool too is they have thought about, can we keep your brain occupied while you sit for 31 minutes next to a Rite Aid? And the answer is yes. You've got this sketch area where you can draw pictures. There's games that you can play with your child or by yourself. They've done a really good job with this interface. One feature that we don't have on our test vehicle but is included for the 2022 models is Blue Cruise, which is Ford's hands-free driving feature that you can use on freeways. I've used it a couple of times, and it generally works pretty well, but didn't get to use it here. I do need to quickly talk about this big glass roof. On a cool day like this, it's pretty neat. You get a great view of the sky, and that's awesome. And when it's hot, you really feel the heat. Using more of the climate control to keep the vehicle cool because you have a big window that you can't close up top seems a little silly to me. I wish there was a sunshade. Speaking of power, saddle in everybody, I'm going to talk. For the Select trim, there's a standard range version that you can get in rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. If you move up to the premium version, which is the one we've got here, there's a standard range battery, and then there's also an extended range battery that has more power and is also available between rear and all-wheel drive. If you need even more power, there is the GT trim, and then there's the GT Performance Edition, the fastest rendition. Oh boy. The Select trim, that is the base model, comes very well equipped, but if it were me, I would go with the premium trim. It adds a few features like heated memory front seats, a 360-degree camera system that I like, active parking assist so the vehicle will park itself, that Blue Cruise I've been talking about. But the biggest reason to get the premium trim is that it gives you the option to choose the extended range battery, which costs $6,000. And to my mind, if you're buying an electric car right now, you kind of want as much range as possible. Kind of want to future-proof your vehicle a little bit. The premium extended range costs $11,000 more than the base version, but you get a ton of features, great range, and another reason to get the premium trim is that it actually charges at a quicker rate. The base Select version charges at 115 kilowatt rate. Oh, and if you live in the mountains like us and you want dual motor all-wheel drive, that'll be an extra $2,700. And if all of these numbers feel very big to you, just remember there is a $7,500 federal tax incentive to help mitigate some of that cost, and depending on where you live, there might also be state incentives. Among the competitive set, the Tesla Model Y is a big one, and interestingly, it is not eligible for that $7,500 federal tax incentive. Another one to consider might be the Volkswagen ID4. We haven't reviewed it yet, but one we have driven is the Kia EV6, which we liked very much. If you're curious what we thought about the EV6, you can click up here. And then I'll also throw in the Hyundai IONIQ, which we are going to review at some point in the not too distant future. Did we miss any remarks? If we did, tell us in the comment section. Synopsis! In thinking about the essence of the Ford Mustang Mach-E, it is a familiar name that we're experiencing in a different context, and while it has the potential to be lame, it's actually really quite good. To me, it is the Ewan McGregor doing a cover of Endlessly by Muse on an acoustic guitar of electric SUVs. That could be the most convoluted synopsis I've ever done, but I think it's accurate. If you're curious, just Google Ewan McGregor Muse cover. It'll make you fall in love with Ewan McGregor all over again.
Aww.
You'll never know.
If you're curious what we're doing between YouTube videos, you can give us a follow over on Instagram. If you'd like to see more of these kinds of videos where we review cars as a family, along with the occasional helicopter video, feel free to subscribe. Family! I think we've done a pretty good job reviewing the Mustang Mach-E. May I have a 5 and a 5 and you come get your high five. Ah! I'm still recovering from that powerful 5 back there. Gosh.